guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. My name is Rebecca, and today we're going to be making one of my favorite Asian inspired appetizers, crab rangoons. And I really like them a little more on the sweeter side, so I make a sweet cream cheese filling with some crab meat and a few other ingredients to get that sweet and crispy appetizer that I like. So follow along while we make this Asian inspired appetizer of sweet crab rangoons. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do for making our homemade sweet crab rangoons is make our crab rangoon filling. So in our KitchenAid stand mixer, I have my flex edge attachment on, and I'm going to add one 8-ounce package of cream cheese, and that's been softened to room temperature. So lower the paddle down. I'm just going to mix this a little bit until that cream cheese is nice and smooth and creamy. There we go. And as I mentioned earlier, I like my crab rangoons on the sweet side, so I will add a half a cup of powdered sugar. We'll mix that in. Now we'll add our crab. So you can use imitation, frozen, or canned crab. It'll be about a cup or so, or one 8-ounce package. And what I did was I used my Ninja Master Prep, this little mini food processor, and I pulsed this about 10 times. I made some nice sized chunks of crab meat to put into our crab rangoons. So we'll add that to the bowl. You could also hand chop the crab meat to whatever size you desire. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of sliced green onions, which is about 1 green onion. I'm using some green onion from our garden, and what I like to do with that is I'll leave some fresh when it's harvested, and then I take the rest and I pre-slice it, put it into Ziploc bags, and freeze that. So that's been frozen. That works perfectly for an appetizer such as this. So now we'll add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Lower down. We'll just mix to incorporate all of these ingredients. All right, there you go. We have our sweet crab rangoon filling all mixed together. And it's ready to go into our wonton wrappers. So let me just get this filling off of the paddle here. We'll head over to the work surface and get this filling put into wonton wrappers. All right, so we have our yummy sweet crab rangoon filling here. And I have some homemade wonton wrappers that I've made. You can check out a video on how I made those. You can also use your favorite store-bought wonton wrapper. And I just like to keep them inside of a tortilla keeper, and it prevents them from drying out. So now what we're going to do is add some of the filling to some wonton wrappers and fold them up into a shape so we can get them into the air fryer. You can also deep fry your crab rangoons if you prefer that method. So I'll take out a wonton wrapper. And just put about a tablespoon or so of filling, depending on how big your wrapper is. Just take a little bit of water. There's a number of ways that you can fold your wontons in order to get a fun shape. So what I did is I just wet the middle of each of the 4 sides. You have a little pocket. So let's put the wonton wrapper down. You can moisten all the edges if you'd like. And about a tablespoon. It's another flower shape you can make. Now this one I'm going to roll into what I call a crabby spring roll. So you fold one side up, bring the end in, the other end in, continue rolling it, almost like you would a burrito. There you go. Alright, so our air fryer basket's pretty full. I don't want to overfill it. So now we have a basket full of sweet crab rangoons ready to go into the air fryer. So what I'm going to do is bake these at about 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. Now every air fryer is a little different, so you can experiment with what temperature and time works best for your particular model. But what you're looking for is a nice golden color on the outside and a nice crispy crab rangoon. You can leave these as is, or you can also spray them with a neutral oil such as an avocado oil spray, which is what I'm going to do today. That just helps them to crisp up a little bit more and give them an even nicer golden brown color. So we'll get these into the air fryer. Alright, I have another bin of some sweet crab rangoons ready to go into the air fryer. So 350 for 10 minutes. And I sprayed the tops with some avocado spray. Alright, let's get the last batch of these sweet crab rangoons ready for the air fryer. I just moisten in 4 corners or the middle of each side if I'm using a square. And I bring those moistened edges together and I make a little pocket. There we go. Here's the last batch of our sweet crab rangoons. I'll get these into the air fryer. Alright guys, here you have it. Here are our homemade sweet crab rangoons. I prepared them in the air fryer, so they're a little bit healthier, but you can certainly deep fry them. If you were to deep fry them, they'd be even more crispy and have those little air pockets that you see in the dough, just like you'd get from takeout. So I'll get a little closer look here for you. They have a nice crispy outside and a creamy inside, which has a much higher ratio of crab to cream cheese than you would typically see from a takeout restaurant. If you do not care for crab that much, you can cut back the amount of crab in the recipe or leave it out completely. I've made these when I was really hungry for crab rangoons and I didn't have any crab in the house, so I just made it with everything except for the crab, and they were really great cream cheese rangoon, and they really satisfied that craving anyway. And the cream cheese rangoons you could dip in the sweet and sour sauce. I have some homemade sweet and sour chili sauce here and some restaurant style sweet and sour sauce as well. You can check out a video on how I make those 2 Asian inspired sauces. But for the cream cheese ones, you could just dip those in strawberry sauce or chocolate sauce and make it more like a dessert type of item. Because as I mentioned before, I prefer the sweeter style of crab rangoons. Well, if you'd like more inspiration and ideas on some Asian inspired dishes and kitchen staples, you can check out some videos I had on how to make homemade wonton wrappers. I used some homemade wrappers today in this recipe. And I also go over how to make a deconstructed egg roll dish, which is a really simple and quick way to get an Asian inspired lunch or dinner made using your Instant Pot. Well, if you're new to the channel or haven't done so yet, I would really appreciate you subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Well, I hope you're having a fantastic day. See you next time. Take care.